Hi everybody. Okay, I'm doing my first ever thread. I want to know, I want you to talk about your Wacky records. I have a small collection of Wacky records, and I don't know why I pick them up all the time, just because they're odd, you know? There's a lot of really odd records out there. And we tend to really share the popular records, the indie records, the rock records. Oh, there's a train coming through my living room. No, just joking. It's sound effects. Authentic sound effects on Electro Records. We are currently listening to Diesel Train, track number 1. We're going to listen to this during the whole video, so it should be interesting. Yeah. This was a gift from my sister. She brought this with her from Calgary one year. And it's kind of interesting, actually. I obviously don't play this very often, but I told her that I really was interested in really odd records, so she brought this one. Authentic sound effects created and produced by Jack Holzman. Comprehensive library of the most sought-after sound effects, brilliantly recorded, ideal for the theater groups, home movie enthusiasts, radio and TV stations, slideshows. Cool stuff. Okay, so that's the first record that I'm going to feature. And let's see, this one here, super surprised to find this. How often do you see Voices of the Night, the calls of 34 frogs and toads of the United States and Canada? Pretty neat, pretty neat. I was reading the back here, and they basically, the professors and stuff that went and recorded all these frogs, they basically say that, you know, you put them all together and you've really got a symphony. Some do baritone, some frogs, toads, like even sing like birds. So it's really interesting. I don't know why I picked it up. Don't ask me. It was probably really cheap. So, and this one here is rather odd also. This is a group called the Brothers-in-Law. Two of them, I believe, on either side of the birth control pill, were police officers. That's why they're called in-law. So they're not actually related. But what they did is they were just like a bunch of traveling musicians, you know, also cops, of course. And they would like take all the things that were happening in the world around that time. So you can, as you can see by the track listings there, there's one called Batman. The Pill, Lullaby of a Spoiled Brat, The Striker of the Year, Star Spangled Junkyard, The Automobile, The Man from Stockholm, An Inexpensive Funeral. Just a rather odd record. Like, you know, the pill administered orally by the brothers-in-law must have been when the birth control pills first came into use and whatnot. So anyway, really interesting stuff. Another sort of relic from the past would be Apollo 11. We have landed on the moon. Actual recordings of the space adventure. Pretty neat stuff. It's gatefold. I picked this up. I think I pick all these up really cheaply, to be honest. But I just find them interesting. Like, you know. And there's the other side there. And there's the 3 astronauts. Let's go to space. So, and I have a little bit of a guilty pleasure. I have a complete Ravine collection. Ravine is an Australian impossibilist, he's called. And, you know, through the power of, you know, persuasion, he can stop you from smoking. Stop smoking and overeating with Ravine. He's really got quite a trippy, you know, I don't know, gig going. And I just got to show you the actual vinyl. Pretty neat. Stop smoking, stop overeating with Ravine. That's overeating. And on the other side, we've got smoking. Basically, he just talks in a really hypnotic, lulling voice that will put you to sleep. It will. I don't know if it'll stop you from smoking or overeating, but anyway. I don't know why. They're kind of kitschy, but I always pick them up because they're just cheap. And I have them all now. I have all of his shit. This one here, couldn't believe it when I found this. My father had asked me, he's like, Jeff, have you ever heard of Bing Crosby doing Hey Jude by the Beatles? And I was like, I don't think so. And so anyways, I was in a record store like a week later, and what did I find? Hey Jude, Hey Bing. It's pretty neat, and he does a really good job on it too. So anyway, he and his friend, my father and his friend had a bet, and my dad bet that he did have Hey Jude, he did cover Hey Jude, and his friend was like, it's impossible. But anyway, he did. So, another one, there was a little bit of information earlier, or a thread going on what's the best record to test your stereo. Well, here's one example of that. I don't know if it's the best, but A Journey into Stereo Sound. It's got a train sequence. Trains are really prevalent in sound effect records. It's kind of funny. A lot of, it's really interesting, like the variety of stuff on this record, like train sequence, like I said, a bunch of classical stuff, racing car sequence, Ceremony of the Keys. It's just a really bizarre record. Really neat collage on the front too. I think that's probably why I picked it up. And there's the back. This is a rather old record on London Records. This is probably the strangest record I think I've ever seen, or even that I own. You know, it's. I think it was meant to be distributed between doctors, and but it's a 33 1/3 record. It's called The Art of Heart Osculation. Basically, it's all different types of regular and irregular heartbeats, so that, and then, you know, doctors would listen to this and study the heartbeats so that they could learn when they hear it on the patient, kind of thing. And it's really in depth. Like, it's super technical. But you open it up. It's gatefold. It's got like a. See if I can stand up here and do this. So you go, you know, really detailed stuff, you know. But check that out. That's what they look like. Oh, I don't know if they're called sonograms or what, but anyway. So, The Art of Heart Osculation, from the Faculty of Medicine, University of Western Ontario. Bizarre. This is another weird one. Paul Tech's Year Out is his name, and it's called On the Campus. And basically what he does is he goes to all these campuses, I think in the 60s, and talks to these teenagers and stuff about like drugs, and just tries to, it's not a religious record. I thought it was at first, but it's not. He's just basically trying to snap them out of their hippie ways. Pretty neat stuff though. I don't know. All it is just his lecture. It's just him, spoken word stuff. So this one here is interesting. These guys, Paul Winter and Paul Haley. It's called Whales Alive, and it's narrated by Leonard Nimoy, also known as Spock, of course. But basically what they do is they make music, but one of the instruments is a whale, or many whales. And it's really cool. I got this one for $2, so it's from the CBC Record Library. They got rid of a lot of their records a while back. That's Leonard in the middle there. So this is a rather odd record. I don't see this one very often at all. Just two more. These are both along the same vein, and I'm always interested in records like this, but this one here is called Pianos Without Pianists. So basically it's pneumatic, automatic, and mechanical pianos from the collection of Henri Triquet. And, sorry, my French is very good. Performed by George Gershwin, Freddie Rich, Alan Morin, and Scott Joplin. So basically, all those player pianos that play themselves, well, this is like a collection of all of them, kind of thing, which is really neat. I love the cover. Like, look at that picture. It's just so neat. I'd like to have that on a t-shirt. And so there's the back. There's the track listing. Neat stuff. Not a record I listen to a lot, but interesting nonetheless. And this one here, a friend of mine gave me. I wasn't sure what to make of it at first, but basically this is just all mechanical instruments, not just pianos, but anything under the sun that this guy has collected. This German fellow, it's a German record, but there's an English translation. His name is Siegfried Wendel, And now let's see here. Resulting in the creation of the largest German collection of self-playing musical instruments from the 18th and the 20th century. So this is a really interesting record too, but I don't really play it all that often, but it's cool to have. So there you have it. So I'd like to hear about everyone else's really strange and odd records. Let me know. Thanks for listening to the trains going through the living room. That was really fun. So all aboard.